Today's topic, I think, is going to be very useful for people who are looking to start Rent2Rent. I just thought I'm going to give some tips, thank you. Lots of loves and likes. So yeah, thank you for all that. So all the new members, warm welcome to this group, because this is where I deliver value. This is where I deliver lots of training as well, and I share people's success stories, people who are learning and been working with me, how well they are doing, and if there are any issues, if we are facing any problems. So what I share here is very realistic, so it's not always good, but there are difficulties as well, like in any business, so that's what that's the whole purpose of it, so people get true picture of it. Hi Ashley. Yeah, so that's the whole purpose, right? So today's topic, I covered it a while ago about sourcers, because it's very common nowadays. You come across so many sourcers, they try to source deals to you, they try to sell deals, and you wonder that, just to make your life easy, should you just get your deal from a sourcer, or should you go out and look for deal yourself? Sorry, just bear with me. I have made a couple of notes here. Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to include them as well. Right. So, when people wonder that it's a good idea to get a deal from a sourcer, or is it a bad thing? Some people, they think it's easy because it makes their struggle, it's not then as hard, the struggle of getting their first deal. Whereas some people think, why should we pay? So which is fair enough. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But, eventually we all have to learn how to source our own deals, because, there is no point paying sourcers, 2,000, 3,000 pounds, or sometimes they ask, really high amount. It could even be 4,000, 5,000 if, it's a big property, and depending upon where that property is located. So, and that's a lot of money for people. And this is where you just need to be very, very sensible when you are picking a deal. Because, it's all right to say, I'll pick a deal, because what I come across a lot with these sourcers, that, you get a deal from a sourcer, but by the time you add their sourcing fee on top, all of a sudden that so-called lucrative deal that initially it was, but after adding this sourcing fee on it, that deal just does not stack, So really important. First thing first, don't think that you are getting your deal from a sourcer, so it's your substitute and you don't need to do your own due diligence. It's very, very important, because you will be the one who will run this Rent2Rent business, and you will be the one who will be responsible for your cash flow. So it's very important that, before you commit to any deal, do your own due diligence, learn your own numbers, because that's another thing. Some people, they think having a deal from a sourcer, it's a shortcut, it's like easy thing for them. Hi Patrick. So they feel that it's easy, it's a easy way to get their deal, it just reduces. But don't think and don't expect them to actually do due diligence on your behalf, because sometime, in fact, I would say 80 to 90%, when you get a deal from a sourcer and they show you figures to justify that deal stacks very well and you're going to get your money out pretty quick, but you should really remember that, that person doesn't really understand Rent2Rent strategy as well as we do, So it's our job to learn the strategy properly, and it's our job to know the realistic figures, what to put in our deal analyzer, including their sourcing fee, so we know that, this is a genuinely good deal or not. So it's very, very important. That's one thing. Don't just think that because you are getting your deal from a sourcer, that's fine. You've done your bit. You paid them a fee and they will give you something, and that should automatically. And I think that is the biggest mistake. I've come across so many people. They've blindly taken deals, they paid money, and then they have regretted. And that's because, they didn't really do their own due diligence, and they just trusted someone else's decision on it, when that person who's selling is just there to, I'm not saying every every sourcer is a bad sourcer. There are plenty of good sourcers, genuine sourcers are out there, but there are people who may try and make, quick money from you. So it's important that, we know how to do number, because ultimately it'll be your responsibility. It'll be your problem. If you are stuck with a deal which is making you loss, or which is not really earning you any money. So that's my take on it. When I started about 5 years ago in Rent2Rent, there was no concept of, having these Rent2Rent deals, especially from sourcers. I used to see sourcers sourcing deals for, below market value properties, but this concept of getting deals now for Rent2Rent from sourcer is relatively new, and it has become all of a sudden very popular in last couple of years. So I don't see personally anything wrong with it, but again, you need to know what you need to check on it. So don't think that just because, you're buying your deal, that's it, that you've done your bit. You're paying them fee and it's their responsibility. No, it's not really their responsibility. It's your responsibility. So today I wanted to talk about 3 main things. Obviously, by people who are working with me, in my group, we go deep into the topic, but, in the time given that I have here with you guys, I'll try and cover some of those pointers with you. So, make sure that you bear those things in mind, because it's important that whenever you are taking any deal, don't get ripped off. Very, very important. So obviously, the most important thing you need to remember, number 1 would be that is that person who's giving you a deal, is he a compliant person? Is he a compliant sourcer? Is he just, he's picked a deal from somewhere and he's just trying to sell you and try and make quick money? Because if he is not really doing things properly, then, and if he is really picking deals from somewhere, and if he ends up doing something wrong, or if he ends up robbing you, and if he is not really registered with any authority, then you really can't really make any complaint against them, because it's easier to make a complaint against someone if they are registered with different bodies, different authorities. So for that reason, it's important that you should check that whether that person is fully compliant as a sourcer or not. So check their company number, check if they have like a public liability and indemnity insurance in place. Also check if they have anti-money laundering, registration in place as well. So those type of things. Or check if these guys who are acting as sourcers, if they are registered with authorities like PRS, property redress scheme, because property redress scheme is really important for, especially if you get ripped off, or if they have kind of try and sell you a wrong deal or given you wrong information. Obviously, again, they'll always cover their back. When you're signing a paperwork, any contract with them, they will expect you to do your own due diligence. And that's why I say, always know what you are picking. But, if for whatever reason, if they haven't delivered what they promised and what you've signed for, then in that case, if they are registered with the proper regulatory body, then you can go and you can make a complaint against them. Otherwise, you have no leg to stand on. So that's very, very important thing. So make sure that whoever is sourcing your deal, they are properly regulated. Hi, Peggy. They are properly regulated and, genuine people. So don't just pick your deal unless you are so confident with your own due diligence and you know how to do detective work and how to find, whether these deals are genuine deals or not. So then it's a different matter. If you become very, very confident with it, then obviously it's okay then to take it from a sourcer, because now you're taking charge of that deal. But if you're just starting out, then make sure that you're picking it from right person. You're not picking deal from any dodgy sourcer or any so-called sourcer. They're claiming to be a sourcer, but they're not really doing their business properly. So very, very important. To me personally, for me, it's more important that, they are doing their job ethically. They're giving me whatever deal they're bringing to me, they are genuine deal. And this is where, I would do my due diligence on it. But anybody new taking, although you still have to do your numbers, but just do check. So because if they are governed by or they are registered with anybody, proper these authorities, then you at least can make complaint against them. So really, really important. Now, thank you, James. Hi, James. Hi, Tracy. Guys, ask questions as well, because I want to make it interactive, because it's all right for me to say, hi, Kaz, to give you pointers, but it will be good that if you guys tell me what are your questions, if you've come across anybody who's asked you for something strange, or you've been forced to sign something where you didn't feel confident, and they made you feel really bad or awful. So share your experiences. It'll be really, really good for other people as well in the group. Hi, Gordon, hope you're well. Right, so that's one thing. You need to make sure that these guys are compliant, especially if you're just very, very new. You need to make sure that, you're dealing with the right type of people, not dodgy people. Now, second thing, you need to make sure, this is where, people, they really struggle if they haven't really learned this strategy properly. And this is where, they trust whatever sourcer is saying. So you need to learn to do your numbers. I can't put enough emphasis on it, because you need to make sure that if they are selling your deal, because I'm coming across a lot of deals at the moment. I'm coming across a lot of deals, at the moment where rents are so high. And you wonder that how can this sourcer justify that the deal stacks, and you're still going to make some money from that property. And on top of that, they are asking for their hefty fee as well, 3,000 or 3,000 plus VAT or whatever, they are asking those type of questions, they are actually asking that type of money, sorry. So you need to make sure that when you are doing your numbers, include their fee as well, and whatever figures they are giving you, take them as like pinch of salt, do your own numbers. Ask someone who's actually doing rent-to-rent business, can give you realistic figures on it. So that whether that deal stacks or not. I personally, I do source deals for people, but I would never source a deal where I feel that I cannot justify that, the money is going to come out within 12 months. If it's going to take longer, then it's not really a good deal. So I should not really be selling it. But this is where I'm finding that people, even though they know that deal does not stack, they still try and sell it. And some people are so naive, they would still take it. You can actually, Patrick, that's a very good question. Can we check their company name against PRS? Yes, you can. You can check. So if they are, registered with PRS, then yes, you can check. And this is where if they are PRS registered, that's a massive plus for you, because then you can make a complaint, because then you become what's the right word? You are a consumer, because you are buying a deal of them. And then, if they have given you wrong information, obviously not with regards to the numbers of the deal, when you're doing stacking of the deal, then obviously it's your responsibility. You need to take charge. But if they have tried to, if they've taken money in advance and they're not refunding, or if you feel that, they have kind of, they have been fraudulent with you in one way or the other, then at least you can go to PRS and you can seek advice on that. So definitely PRS is, if these guys are registered, then only they will take your complaint as well. Otherwise, they won't even listen to you if you have any problem. So that's one thing. So if they are PRS registered, then it's a massive plus for you. Obviously do not pay anybody any money if you are not sure. And this is where it's important that you learn of someone who maybe has dealt with it or knows enough about this rent-to-rent strategy, or about the numbers or about the deal, so they can give you right advice and right information how to deal with it, or what type of questions you need to ask these sourcers. Yeah, so you need to make sure, do not think that just because it's coming from sourcer, it's a good deal, because I'm finding a lot of deals when we do numbers ourselves, we find you don't even you're not going to get your money back out from that deal for at least 18 months or 20 months or 24 months. And then, you wonder that, is it really that good deal? Do I really have to pay? How can these people even justify? So ask them for the ROI as well, which is return on investment, and ROI should be over 100%. So any figure that's above 100%, then obviously that's a good indication that it is a good deal. But then don't forget to include their fee in it as well. So like I said, any doubt, do not take it. If you're really confident, if you've done your due diligence, then, go for it. But these are the things, this is what I'm coming across. Like I'm saying, not every sourcer is bad. There are some good sourcers out there, because I'm counting myself as well in it. I do not source on a daily basis, because I'm very particular and very picky on deals. If I feel about a deal that, yes, it's good enough for me to take it, then only I would, source that deal to someone else. So you'll not find many people, who think like that. There will be plenty people who think it's easy money. They want to sell deals. They want to quickly create that cash flow, and they want to just move on, or they want to then, move on to the next person or next deal. So you need to make sure that you cover yourself and make sure that you do your numbers, and you should get your money out in less than 12 months, then only, including their fee, then only, you can say, yes, maybe it's a good deal. That's what I would say. Now, third, very, very important thing. Right. Okay. Hi, Sapna. I've got a question pertaining... Oops, Daisy, sorry. Right, okay, and the mold and the landlord paint over it, and not treatment. Landlord saying it is because not airing out the property. Do you believe so? Yeah, he could be right. But still, it's his responsibility to put it right. So if there is a property that has mold issue, definitely you've got every right to, ask that to get it sorted, because he has to go through specialized treatment. Sorry, this is out of the topic. This topic you're asking, feel free to message me. I'm happy to answer that question a bit more, because I'll need some more information from you. So in a way, he's right that somebody is not opening the windows, but if despite opening the windows, mold is still appearing, then obviously that's a problem. Right. Peggy, you're asking me a question that, sourcers, what type of questions should I be asking to know that sourcer is compliant? So obviously you need to ask them their company. If they are working under a company, then you need to know what's their company number. So ask them to provide you with full list of everything that they have. These guys have registered, so they should have a company number. So they should be registered for, as a company, if they're running their business as a company. So you can ask for that registration number. You should be able to ask them their public liability and professional indemnity number as well. They should be able to provide you that. Now, with regards to anti-money laundering schemes, some of them are registered and some of them aren't. Now, there are two types of sourcers. If they are just sourcing deals for rent-to-rent, it's a gray area. I mean, ideally, everybody should get registered for anti-money laundering, but not every sourcer would register, because, for rent-to-rent, they don't have to, because they're not dealing with really large chunk of money. Whereas if somebody is sourcing deals for, like below market value properties as well as for rent-to-rent, then they must be registered for anti-money laundering. So, there should be a number. Another thing they should have is ICO number. Really, really important. So ask for, that they are registered for GDPR, so they're not going to share your information with other people. So that's another thing you should be asking. So, and if they are registered with PRS, because not every sourcer is registered with PRS, but if they are registered, then that's a big help for you, like I said, because, if they are dodgy and if you have had dealings with them and if they haven't really done what they promised, or then obviously you can make a complaint or whatever. You can fight for your own right as well. Really important. And more than anything, guys, learn the strategy. Don't shy away and don't try and cut corner and think that, oh, it's an easy route for me, that I buy a deal from a sourcer and that's it, they'll get me a deal and that's it, I'll just run with that deal. It doesn't work like that. I wish world was as simple as that. Thank you, Dale. Thank you for your comment there. Hi, Maria. So yeah, Peggy, I hope that answers your question. So just make sure that these guys are compliant. If you are taking, from someone a deal and they're claiming to be fully compliant, because you want to make sure that they're doing their business properly. Now, another thing you need to make sure, which again is very important, and this is one thing I find a lot. I don't know whether I should say it here or not, but what I find is people, you're welcome, Peggy. What I find that people who are teaching the sourcing strategy to people, how to source a deal, sometimes, not every mentor, but some mentors are actually teaching that guys go and check on OpenRent, check on Rent2Rent, check on, all these platforms and get your deals from there, package them and just sell them, which is very, very wrong, because if they are simply pinching deals from different online portals, then you can do that easily, so a good sourcer should really be sourcing a deal that is an off-market deal. That's just my opinion. Then, and if they are picking deals from different platforms and they are then charging 2,000, 3,000 pounds to you to sell that deal, then that's not really, they're not really doing their job. They're not really, how can they justify that fee, So this is where it's very, very important. You need to become a detective and you need to make sure that you check and you make sure that deal is a genuinely off-market deal. Otherwise, I personally would be I wouldn't be very happy to pay, So for me personally, having an off-market deal is a lot more important than even having a compliant sourcer, because everything else, number stacking, I will deal with it myself. But if they're not doing their business ethically, that's when, it just doesn't sit very well with me, Hi, Nasir. So yeah, definitely, this is for me, that will be at the top of the list, definitely I will make sure that, if I'm taking a deal, that it is a genuinely off-market deal and they're not just simply, because I'm finding that many mentors are actually, teachers are teaching their mentees. They're saying, guys, go and get deals from different platform and just package them and just sell them. Then why can't we just go? Because I personally feel, if anybody is learning from me, first thing you need to learn is that you need to become a sourcer. Even before you become a rent-to-renter, it's important that you learn how to find your deals properly, so you can save that money. Why to pick a deal from someone or buy a deal from someone who's just simply picking it from different platforms and just serving it to you and charging you, easy money, 3,000 pounds or whatever money, silly money. And that money can really help you to then go and buy a next deal, or get next deal or pay for your rent for your next deal. So that's very, very important. So 3 things I've talked about, really important, that the deal, make sure that, your deal stacks. Second one is the person who's selling that deal is compliant, and more than anything else, that deal has to be genuinely off-market deal. Yeah, because you need to, because otherwise, you need to, you should be able to find the same deal anyway. So why should you pay someone? And this is where I think education is very, very important. So when it's a good deal to pick from a sourcer and when to let it go, because we cannot teach every sourcer how to do their job properly. We can't do that. So that's where, it's very, very important that we learn. Now, one very important thing I wanted to talk here, people, when they are taking any deal from a sourcer, some sourcers, they can ask you to pay money upfront. I don't know how many of you have actually come across that situation where, somebody has said, okay, pay me upfront and then only I will source you a deal. Yeah. So you need to, sorry guys, I'm just getting messages on my phone. So yeah, so basically, so you need to make sure that whenever you are taking a deal from a sourcer, do not pay anything upfront unless you've seen that deal. I mean, obviously it's your business and it's your decision, but personally, I wouldn't be very happy to pay anybody upfront, without seeing a deal. Sometime what will happen, you see a deal on they will email you some details of it, and if you request to view it, they will say, no, you need to pay some money first. We want to see that commitment, and then, we will arrange viewing for you. And this is where I find very dodgy, because, if you are already paying, then, what are the chances that you're going to get your refund back if that deal doesn't work? So this is where be very cautious about these things. Don't be naive. You are earning money and you're working hard for your money, so, before you, and it can really put you off as well from the whole strategy, because sometimes when you're just starting out and, you don't really want to have that bad experience from, people, because it can really tarnish everything, your experience, and you then start hating this rent-to-rent strategy when you haven't even made a start. It's just because you've come across someone who's demanded money. But don't feel obliged that you have to pay. If they make you feel bad, then that's their problem. But definitely, I personally wouldn't, I personally wouldn't be paying. I wouldn't pay. I'd rather let that deal go. I would not pay anybody unless I've been to the property, unless I've seen that property. And then, if I'm happy with it and I'm happy with everything, then only I would pay. And in fact, sometimes, sourcers, they are asking for money to be paid up front, and then only they will do a search. I personally don't feel very comfortable, because if they bring a deal and in their opinion, if they feel deal stacks, and what if it doesn't stack? What are the chances that you're going to get your money back from them? I'm not saying that every sourcer is bad. Again, please don't take it in wrong way. There are a lot of nice, good sourcers out there, good people out there. But, amongst those people are also some dodgy people who are trying to make, quick money from us. So we need to make sure that we are checking people properly, and we are, not paying anything. If any doubt, check with someone who's done it, or more than anything, get yourself educated in the strategy so you know what you're doing, more than anything, that confidence, that will help you a lot. Yeah, I can see there are some comments appearing. Hang on. Yes, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for joining as well. I hope you're keeping well. Guys, if you have any question regarding sourcing topic, I'm happy to answer questions for you, because I personally am a very practical person. If there is a deal, it's coming from a sourcer and I'm really confident about that deal, I would take it and I would run with it. I do not have this thing or stigma about it. Oh, if it's coming from a sourcer, I should not be paying sourcing fee. If it's justifiable, if, they've done their legwork for it, they've done all the hard work that you needed to do on a deal, and if it's making sense, I would take it, Thank you, Peggy. Thank you. That's really kind of you. Yeah. So, yeah, guys. So definitely be practical. There are people out there, but out of those people, you need to qualify. Or easy option is come and learn from me. I'll teach you how to be detective, how to find out that whether the deals that are coming to you are actually from the source or are actually, uh, um, are actually genuine deals. It's really, really important. Yeah, Nasir, I will help you with that. That discount thing is only for my group, my mentees. So yeah, definitely I can help you with that. Definitely, we can have a chat because obviously there are certain sourcers, they work with my group, but I make sure that then I'm sitting in the middle to make sure that nobody's ripping my mentees off. I sit, I'm like a guard for my group, so it's different. But you guys, if the people who are not learning from me, then obviously look after yourself. You need to make sure that you're covering your back. But in my group, yes, I am right behind everybody, and checking that nobody's getting ripped off. Very, very important, very, very important, for my group. I'm very protective in that way. So yeah, Nasir, you're in my group, so yeah, I will help you with that. No problem. Guys, any other question you have? Does sourcing fee typically cover negotiation of the deal? No, Patrick. If it was coming from me, I would have done all that. I would do all the, legwork. A good sourcer ideally should have done all the negotiation and everything for you. But what I'm finding with the sourcers also, which is very annoying, they give you a deal and then still you end up doing all the negotiation because the deals are coming to you. You like the deal. Maybe it's off market deal, but the trouble is it's not really stacking. The numbers don't work for you. So then you end up doing all the negotiation, or maybe in their opinion, they are thinking that, the deal stacks. They are thinking that deal stacks very well, but we know that deal does not stack. So that's why also we need to do our own negotiation on it, which is a real shame because, we are paying them that sort of fee. So, they need to justify. But if anybody gets a deal through me, then obviously I've done, because I kind of understand the strategy and I kind of know that, how can I justify to someone that this deal stack when I deep down know that deal doesn't work, So first of all, I think sourcers need to be mindful as well that they are asking for that sourcing fee. They are asking for sourcing fee, and once we add that sourcing fee, all of a sudden this deal, the lucrative, so-called lucrative deal, does not remain lucrative anymore. So how many people think that way? So that's one thing I teach, people who come and work with me or learn from me. This is very important. Be mindful. Think about the investor as well who's investing. People like who are watching today, they are investing, so they need to see that this deal is good enough, and that's why you are charging for sourcing. But not every sourcer thinks like that, and this is where it's very, very important. Hi, Shirley-Ann. Right, guys, any other question regarding sourcers or sourcing? Do ask. Another thing, another golden nugget for you guys, when you are taking any deal, usually they would ask you to sign NDA. Now, make sure that you read the small writing, everything, and make sure you understand what you're signing for. Very, very important. Do not sign for anything that you don't understand. It's so, so important. Yes. They will give you all sorts of information. People will give you, I've said that, sources will give you all sorts of information. That's where you need to know whether that deal is, is right deal. You can use it as a multi-let or not, obviously. So this is where education comes handy. Then you can use these people, sourcers, as your assistants to find your deal, good deal. Never say no to a good deal. But again, you should be so knowledgeable and so confident with your knowledge and with, the way you are running your business, that you know that that deal works, and you know that if you take it, it's going to make you some money. So you really need to cherry pick your deals, guys. So I hope you have found today's live useful. Hi, Tenzin. Guys, have you any question? Otherwise, I'm going to go. I'm just checking, going through list of everybody's names and everything. Yeah, I can't see any other questions. So, yeah. If you would like to learn a bit more about, how to do, if you would like to learn more about, how to do due diligence, and in my case, when I'm working with my mentees, with my group, they not just they do due diligence. Actually, I get involved in doing all the checks with them as well, because last thing I want anybody to get ripped off by anybody. We all should be doing our business ethically. It's really, really important. And more than anything, before you become a rent-to-renter, you need to learn how to be a sourcer, so you can source your own deals. Really, really important, because always think these sourcers, they are not really picking their deals from somewhere from a different planet. It's in the same place, and they don't really know people personally, and these sources don't really have time to actually build relationship, because the amount of deals they bring to us, they don't have time for all this to build relationship and do all that. So you need to make sure that, you learn it properly, or get someone you can trust 100%, and that, if I don't know how to check well enough, then okay, this person knows enough, and they can teach us, how to cover ourselves. It's very important. A lot of dodgy people out there. Not everybody is honest and do their business right, in ethical manner. So guys, I'm just double checking. There is no more questions. Yeah, thank you, Shirley-Ann. Thank you. You're very welcome. Right, guys. Okay, so I will bring another topic next week. But if you have any topic that you would like to talk about, you would like to learn a bit more about how to do your due diligence, and never mind due diligence, a good mentor should be able to teach you where these people are finding these deals which they are selling, so you don't even have to pay for those deals, and especially, in my group, because there are sourcers as well, and they're very happy to give special discount just for my group, because they know that, how we work and everything. So yeah, reach out if you need any help or anything. Okay, so enjoy rest of the evening, everybody. I hope you guys found it useful. Take care then. Bye-bye.